Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is normally a fishing channel, kind of outdoors channel, but as of late and from here on out, it's also going to be a shoulder surgery channel. Just had shoulder surgery done yesterday, and I have decided to share my experience with you all, some tips, tricks, experiences, in hopes to better prepare you if you're going through this surgery or have gone through it, and I don't know, alleviate anxiety and maybe get a few questions off your shoulders and, just help you along the way. I'm a talker. I like going through my experience, just sharing with others. So hopefully by me doing this, it can help you all. And if you've been following my fishing channel for a long time, you can also follow along in my healing and recovery. So if you see me glancing down at my phone, I've got a few questions and timeline I want to go over in this video to kind of keep this organized. And I've got my doctor's notes over here if I forget the big words of what they actually did to me. So, what did I have done yesterday? Open biceps tenodesis, subacromial decompression, and debridement of a few things in my shoulder. Debridement, I looked it up, is kind of, I guess they clean up, they kind of cut it away or shave away foreign bodies or actually shave the bone. So that's my understanding of what they did. Why did I decide to get biceps tenodesis? Well, about 4 years ago, you'll have to bear with me on the breathing thing. The nerve block is still making it kind of short of breath. About 4 years ago, I hurt my arm in the Army. I did cortisone about it. I went to the doctor. They did cortisone shots in my right shoulder, and it ended up, it would help it in the early stages of it, but I kept noticing that my shoulder would consistently hurt no matter what I did. And after this spring, I was doing a lot of running. I was running probably 30 miles a week. And like every other mile, I had my arm tucked in my sweatshirt, and because I couldn't stand to swing my shoulder back and forth. And I finally just went and did an MRI. Talked to my doctor about it, sent me in for an MRI. He's like, sent me over to ortho. Ortho said, yeah, you might want to think about biceps tenodesis. Your bicep tendon is fraying, and unfortunately, it looks like there's a little bone spur in there that's not going to help that get any better. Basically, they cut your bicep tendon, they reattach it on your arm bone instead of up in your shoulder, and that alleviates the problem. I deliberated on it all summer. And a couple months ago, I said, hey, let's do this. They set up my pre-op consultation. So the pre-op consultation went like this. It was October 31st. I went in. I signed a few pieces of paper after they explained exactly what they're going to be doing to me. Basically, one was just a waiver, consent form saying, hey, surgery, stuff can't happen. You're okay with that, and here's the consent to do the surgery. Went over any last-minute questions with my doctor. Which there were a few. I don't know if you're like me, but this is probably not the last YouTube video you're going to watch on biceps tenodesis if you're considering getting it done, or if you are going to be getting it done. But he showed me exactly what he was going to be doing to my shoulder, which basically he was going to cut my bicep tendon, obviously put some sutures in it, hook it to a button, drill a hole through the top of my, I believe it's humerus, and all the way through it. Push the anchor through, turn it sideways, and then pull it tight, and then put a screw in the front hole. That way my bicep tendon is actually anchored in my arm bone. And also he said he would clean up anything else he saw in my shoulder that would cause me pain while he's in there. So I talked it over with him, and honestly that alleviated a lot of anxieties, but the anxiety of like, holy crap, this is actually real, started to hit me. Obviously it was, I don't know, those of you all who have full-time jobs that kind of stay busy and you're the main guy, that's the anxiety I ran into, trying to schedule my surgery around work and trying to find people who could fill those gaps for me while I knew I'd be gone and recovering. That was a big stressor for me. Ended up working out okay, but that was definitely something I had to consider when scheduling my surgery. So November 20th was my surgery day, yesterday. I slept pretty good the night before. Woke up. When you go, they're going to want you to wear, actually this is kind of the same outfit I had on it yesterday. Just something easy to slip on and off. sweatpants. This is a 3X t-shirt, nice loose fitting underwear, and I had Crocs on my feet and a ball cap, and my girlfriend brought a coat for me for on the way out. I could just drape the coat over me. When we got in there, it was pretty quick. My appointment was at 10:15. I checked in, and at 10:10 they came and got me. They took me to a little area. I guess it's like a pre-op holding area for everybody. So they had the little curtain walls that you could pull. You know, you pull the curtain around on the hangers, and you've got your own little bed there. They kind of told me how the day was going to go. They gave me some wipes, antibacterial wipes, to wipe my body down with. Had to strip down, put their gown on. They gave me an IV, and they explained to me that I would go from that area to get my nerve block and get the medicine. They call it the I don't care medicine. I think it was called Vitrol. I don't know. I was kind of groggy when they told me what it was. But it just kind of calms you down, makes you sleepy, gets rid of any anxiety. So if any of y'all are anxious like I was, that really took the edge off. I was kind of like, once they gave me that, I was very just, I don't know. I'm not a big drinker, but I would, it felt like I drank a couple beers and I was just feeling pretty good about myself. The nerve block. Now, I did have some qualms about the nerve block going into it because a couple of my buddies, I believe, talked it up more than it should have been talked up. But the nerve block, so I had mine on my right shoulder, so the nerve block went into the right side of my neck. And I was concerned because people had told me that it's going to make it hard to breathe, yada, yada, yada. The nerve block was very simple and it wasn't bad at all. So if you're having anxiety about that, at least for me, the nerve block went as follows. They put a little pad on my right wrist, hooked to a little box. I asked them what it was. They said it was a nerve stimulator. You don't feel anything when they put that on there. They take an ultrasound and they move it around on your neck until they can see, I guess, the nerve they want to put it in. Then they put the needle in, which didn't hurt at all. And when it hit that nerve, it was almost kind of fun because it started jumping. I felt like little kind of jolts of electricity, and I could hear him telling the nurse to inject different amounts of whatever the nerve block was into my neck. So that whole process between him feeling it out, getting the needle ready, and actually injecting me, I want to say took 1 to 2 minutes. Wasn't really uncomfortable at all. And when I was done, he's like, okay, there you go. And they left me. Now, I was back there in that area, so they took me from the curtained area back to the area where they gave me the nerve block. Once they gave me the medicine to calm me down and the nerve block, I was in there for probably an hour and 15 minutes. Maybe it was just because there's people ahead of me in surgery. Maybe it took that long for the medicine to kick in. I don't know. It was very pleasant. There was no anxiety at all. Kind of sit there, looked at the clock, wiggled my toes, noticed that my fingers were tingling. After like 35, 40 minutes, the anesthesiologist came back in, the guy who gave me the nerve block, said, hey, how are you feeling? How's that arm feeling? I'm like, I feel like I can still feel my fingers. And he's like, try to lift that arm. Craziest thing. You can't lift your arm. It was almost, wasn't scary, it wasn't disheartening, it wasn't anything. It was kind of funny. Like I was sitting there going, just trying to lift that arm, and it was the darndest thing. He's like, yep, it's working. So I want to say about an hour, 15 minutes later, the OR operating room people came back and got me. I'm like, are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Went in there into an operating room. Of course, you know, they had the big lights and everything. And they moved me over to the operating table. And the funniest thing happened. I had this sensation that my arm was going to fall, so I went to grab it. And this right arm was so numb and I had no control over it that it just fell to the floor. And I was like, excuse me, ladies, I dropped my arm. Can you help me? And they picked it up, wrapped it up. Told them I was cold, so they gave me a few blankets, put a heater under there for me. And literally, you know, one of my big anxieties was like, okay, when am I going to be put to sleep? When am I going to be put to sleep? Because I personally don't like things that don't allow me to have control of my body. It was nothing. Like I was sitting there talking with the nurses, and then the next thing I know, I'm waking up to the sound of my heartbeat in the post-op room where I'd got my nerve block before. And they were like, hello, Mr. Palowich, welcome back. and I noticed that some time had passed on the clock. So I was like, okay, that wasn't a big deal at all. Like, literally, so if you have any anxiety about fighting that moment of like, when are they going to put me to sleep, and they put the mask on, and you're an overthinker like me, there's literally no recollection of it at all. I got to the OR, cut up with the ladies in there for a second, and then I woke up. That was it. Woke up in no pain. The only thing the nerve block did to me, if you're worried about the nerve block, is imagine if you, I don't know if any of you all have had like an infant or a small child fall asleep on your, after you get done burping them and you're trying to rock them to sleep and they fall asleep on you. That was the sensation I had. It took a little bit more effort to breathe. Felt like my breaths were a little shallow, but it was nothing panicky. There was no, I guess if you're worried about the nerve block, there's nothing to it, at least for me. It's kind of just I don't know. I definitely think I read and watched too much about biceps tenodesis before I had it done. So if I can help you get rid of that anxiety, nothing that happened yesterday was worthy of being worried over. So they woke me up, took me, so let's go over timeline. They checked me in about 10:10. They took me back, I hung out with my girlfriend in a little pre-op area. They took me back at about 11:45, 11:50, gave me the nerve block. I hung out in there until about 1:15, and then they took me back for surgery. I believe surgery started at 1:47, but I was knocked out before then because they had to position my body and everything. And the surgery was done at like 3, so probably about an hour and 15 minutes surgery time. And then I woke up at around 3:45 or 4 o'clock, and the doctor came out and kind of told me how things went, but he'll rebrief me when I go back in for my follow-up because I don't remember anything he said. After that, they took me back out to the little pre-op area, let my girlfriend come in and see me. The nurses monitored me. They asked me, what can we do for you? Please give me something to drink is what I told them, because you can't have anything to eat or drink at midnight the night before, and my surgery wasn't until the afternoon, so I was like, my mouth was cotton. So they came out, they gave me some release instructions. They told me what exercises I could do, how to alternate ice, 30 minutes of ice, hour and a half off the ice. They prescribed me my medicines, which I'll go over that here in a second. They gave me my follow-up PT appointment, which is a week from yesterday, so next Monday. Basically told me to be careful, keep it in the sling at all times for at least the next 4 to 6 weeks, and to try to go home and rest, but don't just sit around because that's not good for you. Get up, move around as you can. And then that was it. I left out of there. They wheelchaired me down to the bottom floor, and my girlfriend pulled up, picked me up, and I was in good spirits. I was happy. We stopped at, I'm a fisherman, so I stopped at the tackle store on the way home because I knew they had an ice machine out front. Said, hey, grab some ice, or she did. Went home and immediately just started icing my shoulder and kind of hung out till it was bedtime. So obviously that happened yesterday, and today I feel pretty good. I think the nerve block is starting to wear off because I am getting some burning pain in here, but knock on wood, the pain has not really been anything to contend with yet, but I have been pretty religious about making sure I take my pain medication every 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours as directed, and in between I'm taking 400 milligrams of ibuprofen. I'm pounding fluids because, number one, ibuprofen, you've got to have that for your kidneys to metabolize it and also to keep your stomach from bleeding. But I'm staying on top of that, and honestly, I'm feeling pretty good right now. The medication they gave me, Docusate. Now, this is a stool softener because apparently taking pain medication, you do get clogged up down there, and I can attest to that because I'm pretty regular, and I have not used the bathroom, number 2, for 24 hours now. They gave me oxycodone, hydrochloride, and acetaminophen mix. So that's my actual pain medication. And they gave me ondansetron for nausea and vomiting. I guess some people have a problem with nausea and vomiting after anesthesia. The only bout I had with that was last night. For like 5 minutes, I took a drink of, I drink little flavored sparkling water sometimes, and I had that, and I just don't know if that was the best thing to drink last night, but for like 5 minutes, I felt a little lightheaded and queasy, but after that, I've not had any problems with nausea or vomiting at all. So, and obviously I take ibuprofen, just over the counter. You can go to Walmart and get that stuff. But that's the only medicine I'm taking right now. Now, there are a few things that I have bought to help make life easier, and a few things I came home with. Well, let's go over the ice machine first. So this is one part of the ice machine. This is the actual cuff. The straps are kind of twisted up, but this cuff goes over your shoulder. The straps go under your arms, and there's one that goes around to hold it tight. That's actually like just a plastic kind of bottom there, and it's like felt on top for the Velcro straps to have something to bind to. This is the actual ice machine. All it is a little cooler. You put ice in and water, and then you plug it in. Once you hook it to the sleeve there, it's got this hose here, and it just pumps ice cold water through that sleeve I just showed you. That thing's amazing. That has become my best friend. I never understood how good it feels just to have ice water going over a part of your body, but especially a part of your body that just got operated on. This is my first big surgery, and that thing is, I think, 90% of the reason, besides the pain meds, that I have not felt that bad since this started. Now, I was contemplating buying a recliner because everybody's like, you need a recliner, you can't sleep in bed normally, you can't sleep in bed normally. I didn't want a piece of furniture floating around the house that didn't really match anything and didn't have a place for it. So I decided to suck it up and get these things right here. So these are just kind of like wedge pillows. And what they do is they form kind of a recliner in your bed. So if you can imagine, this right here just kind of sits up behind me. And there's actually two of these that kind of, I put one right there so my head can lean back on it, and then the other one sits over to the side so I can rest my arm on it like that. And for 40 bucks on Amazon, that thing, honestly, I'm probably going to use this thing a lot just to help me kind of keep a good posture over the next few months in bed as a normal pillow. And these things are pretty handy too, because like if I'm eating at the table, I can set that under there, and it kind of takes some pressure off when I lean forward to eat with my left hand. It's just a handy little pillow right there. So I would definitely, if you want a recliner, you can spend a couple $100s on Amazon and get it delivered to you. But the little wedge pillow setup, I believe I paid 40 bucks for it on Amazon, has helped me a lot. And I definitely can't complain about anything that my experience on that so far. Now, when I'm actually allowed to shower, which will be Thursday, I bought a mesh shower sling. I think this was 10 bucks or 12 bucks on Amazon, and it comes with a little squeeze ball there. I'm guessing I'll get to use that at some point to help get blood flow into my arm and to strengthen my grip to kind of keep that arm alive. But another reason I bought this is for, I don't want to sit around and get fat. So I've got an exercise bike out in the garage. And whenever I'm cleared to do that, I want to start exercising, but I don't want to sweat in my nice pillow sling. So once I get cleared, I can put that shower sling on, and where it's meshed, I can wash it. I don't care if it gets gross. I can work out in that and keep this one nice and clean. Now, as far as the actual sling I'm wearing, I don't know if y'all can see that, but pretty comfortable, to be honest with you. It's got a pillow that keeps my arm out at a gap from my midsection here, and it kind of has a double clasp right there, so it's pretty secure. It's got a thumb loop. It's got this that keeps it kind of tight on my arm, and then a lot of YouTube videos that I've watched say that this gets on their nerves. Obviously, I haven't had much time in this yet, but I slept in this thing pretty comfortably last night and walked around in it all day, and it has not bothered me at all. Another, I don't know if you all are big on melatonin or over-the-counter supplements to help you, but I ordered a thing of melatonin that's got L-theanine in it, and I think ashwagandha, that just kind of helps me sleep a little bit better. So I believe I got the 10 milligrams, which is a pretty hefty dose of melatonin. But when I woke up last night and was kind of feeling restless, I took melatonin and it knocked me right back out. Total sleep last night, I probably got about 5 hours, but on a good day, I typically only sleep 6 to 7 hours anyways. I'm kind of wired to get up and work, and I'm a doer. So 5 hours, I was actually really surprised with that. I'd say it's probably 3 hours solid. Woke up, took some melatonin, knocked out for another 2, maybe 2.5 hours. My pain, if I were to rate it for the past 24 hours, my pain has maybe been a 1, maybe 2. Now, my girlfriend did actually help me do some exercises. My doctor told me I needed to do 2 to 3 times a day, which is I take my arm completely out of the sling, and she has complete control of my arm. You can do it on your own too, but let's say this was the arm, okay? Bicep flexion, but not active. I am not flexing. Either I'm using my good arm to take my arm up, or she's taking my arm up, holding it, going back down, getting that stretch, which it's going to be tight. I could only go to about right there when I started, but letting it hang, and slowly she'll move my arm back up, and we'll do that about 5 minutes, and then I put my arm back in the sling. Now, before I do those things, I'm either taking ibuprofen 30 minutes before or my pain medicine 30 minutes before, just in case it flares up any pain. And then I've just been hitting the ice machine, which I'll be honest with you, I've not had a bad reaction yet to doing those exercises. It feels kind of good to get those things started and to know that I'm actively trying to do physical therapy on my own. I guess the biggest thing, if you're watching this video, is you probably are trying to figure out what you're getting ready to go through and is it worth it. And the way maybe this will help you, the way I got through it was just to understand that, number one, I'm a very avid outdoorsman. Very avid outdoorsman. I'm always hiking. I'm crawling in caves. I literally helped scope out a cave down in Rockcastle County, and we got cave pearls and documented new passages, so I was doing that. Up until I discovered and got into fishing, I used to be very in shape, almost not bodybuilder big, but bodybuilder prep. Like I was very muscular. As I said, I was running probably, I was doing 100-mile months, running 25 to 30 miles a week back in the spring before I broke my foot. And I'm an avid fisherman. If you follow me at all, I'm talking avid fisherman. I'm standing out in the ice. I'm fishing. I'm kayaking for sharks in Florida. I'm surf casting for stripers. I'm wading for muskie. And I picked up last year, I started doing jiu-jitsu, and I started getting into self-defense and boxing a lot. So I needed to get back to that. I realized that I'd made so many lifestyle changes, kind of slowly slipping away from those things, that I was losing joy in not doing those things. So even though it was a very anxious decision for me to make the decision to get this surgery, I am 100% glad that I did do it, because the doctor basically told my girlfriend yesterday that the stuff he did to my shoulder is going to make me feel, once this heals up, is going to make me feel 10 times better. And he told me himself back at my pre-op consult that in 4 to 6 months, he expects a full return to activity, and in about a year, I'm going to be just as good as I was, if not better, because I have less pain and more mobility. So if you all are having any sort of anxiety about getting this surgery, yes, it's scary to think about, but it's really over just like that. And it really didn't affect me in any of the ways I was worried about. And I'm feeling pretty good. Over 24 hours later, I'm feeling pretty good. You know, I feel like the nerve block is pretty much worn off and nothing crazy is happening up here. And if it does, guess what? I have pain medicine. I have the ice machine. I feel pretty good. So I'm going to stay on this. I'm going to do probably my next video is going to be in a week after my first PT session. I'm going to do a vlog that day so you all can understand and know how that went, and any updates to range of motion, pain, anything like that. And I'm going to give you all a week by week up until a certain point, and then I'll do a month by month up to a certain point. I'll probably do a 6 month and a year later video, and I'll probably leave it at that. Just so you all can follow along with my progress and maybe keep asking questions. And if you've already had the surgery, you can give me feedback on stuff that might help me. But anyways, I'm rambling. I feel like I've said enough. If you're getting this surgery, guys and gals, and you have any anxieties about it, I promise you it's going to be okay. It's going to go by like a flash, just like that. And you're going to be waking up glad that it's over and glad that you're on the path to recovery. If you like this video, click the like button below. If you're not an avid outdoorsman, but you're on my channel, I have had this channel for 6 or 7 years now, check out some of my content. Maybe I can grab you along for the ride. I am an avid fisherman, and I fish all around the states and hopefully soon around the world for anything that swims. Anyways, thanks for your time, and I'll see you in a week.